What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out my bolt action AR15, so let's jump into it. Yeah, I know, sounds pretty crazy, right? A bolt action AR15, but this thing is awesome. This thing is from Uintah Precision. They build these all in-house, and you can buy this complete rifle. This bolt action upper fits on any AR lower. You can just buy the upper and pin it to whatever lower you already have. Buy the whole gun, whatever you want, but this works with all the other AR15 parts that are out there. They have a bunch of different styles, an AR15 and an AR10, chambered in a bunch of different calibers. This one that I have is chambered in 6mm arc, which is a really fun cartridge to shoot. I've had this gun for probably 2.5, 3 years or so, and I've absolutely loved it. When I bought it was during COVID, and ammo was a little bit scarce, so I didn't get to shoot it for a while. I actually had to buy a couple boxes of ammo from the guys at Uintah Precision when I purchased this thing, just so I could go get it broken in and sighted in. They also make semi-automatic AR-15s. After buying this, I fell in love with the ARC cartridges. This thing shoots way out there, stays really steady. They're guaranteeing sub-MOA groups. It's their own handguard, their own upper, their own lower. They're patented bolt action, which is awesome. There's no buffer spring or nothing in here. It's just empty. They source their barrels from preferred barrels. They machine them in-house, finish them off. They also have some muzzle devices like this as well that you can purchase for the gun. It comes with an ergo grip on it, the Luth AR adjustable stock, and then I mounted this Vortex Strike Eagle 5-25 on here with a Griffin Armament cantilever mount, which has worked out awesome for me. The Strike Eagle line of scopes is one of my favorite scopes, whether it's an LPVO or a larger scope like this. They've always performed well for me. When I was at SHOT Show, I went and visited these guys. If you guys saw my SHOT Show videos, you saw that I stopped and talked with Jason, the owner of Uintah Precision. He was pretty cool to talk to and tell us about some of the new stuff they're coming out with. But I've got a few upgrades to add to this thing. One of the things I talked to him about while I was at SHOT Show was the trigger. With this bolt action, they suggest you run it like you stole it pretty much, because it is a little bit harder to get that hammer on the AR to come back, because you're physically having to do that versus a typical bolt action. You're not actually pushing that hammer back down to lock. And I was playing with some of the guns that he had there at the show, and I'm like, that seems a lot smoother than the one that I have. Well, they just came out with a new trigger, the V-Trim, that's supposed to help eliminate some of that and be a nice crisp pull. He said these are awesome in a semi-auto setup or the bolt action setup. It'll work in either, but I'm excited to try this out. I'm gonna throw this in today. Then I also got a new bipod for this. I'm going to be using this Arc Rail from MDT, and then I got one of Warne's new Skyline bipods. They just came out with this a couple months ago. This is the Arca version that I got, and I'll go over some of the details of it here in a minute. But I'm going to pull this thing down, because honestly I don't even know what trigger's in this. I know it's an aftermarket trigger, but I'm not sure exactly which one. So I'm going to pull this down, see what's in it, and then we'll go over these new parts and I'll show you what they're all about. So this is the trigger that was in it. This is a Rise Armament Rave 140, which isn't a bad trigger. It functioned perfectly in there, but I got one of their new triggers to try out with this bolt action. So we'll open this up, take a look at it real quick. This is their new V-Trim trigger. I opted to go with the curved bow on it. I kind of like a curved bow on a bolt action gun for some reason. I'm not sure why. You can see the design of this is a little bit different than a lot of other AR triggers. It comes with the trigger with a little Allen wrench. Then I'll just use my anti-walk pins that I just took out that were in there with that Rave trigger. I'll put those back in. It does have the little Allen screws that tighten down against the receiver, so it stays nice and tight in there. And when I was at SHOT Show playing with the guns that he had that had this trigger in them, it felt a lot smoother when racking that bolt. This is that Arc Rail that I got from MDT. This thing attaches to M-LOK slots and goes on pretty slick. These aren't expensive, and I know there's a lot of different places that make these Arc Rails, but I got this one from MDT. It is kind of beveled on the front to help you out when you're taking your bipod on and off of that thing. This is the new Warne Skyline bipod. It has tons of adjustability, but this thing's all aluminum. It's solid, sturdy. The legs deploy very easy. Has a nice wide base when that thing's extended out, and you have 0, 45 and 90 degree adjustability on the legs on this thing. It has a total of like 44 degrees of cant in it. They've got these big throw levers that are easy to adjust as far as the Arc Rail goes, adjusting it quickly and loosening that up or something if you're on a hill and get it tightened back up. Then it has these little thumb locks. You just press it down to adjust it to whatever angle you want. So I'm gonna get this stuff thrown on really quick. afterwards we'll see how this functions, see if that bolt throw is a little bit lighter, like the guns that I played with at SHOT Show. Then I'll show you a little closer how this bipod functions once we get it on the gun. Here's how this thing turned out. I got that new Arca rail with the bipod on there. It is very easily adjustable. A little throw lever on the underside. You just loosen it up to tilt side to side. And then to rack this bolt, that is a lot easier to rack. Before with the other trigger or with other standard AR triggers, pulling that back and getting that hammer to lock back was a little bit harder than this one. It is nice and smooth now. And here's that trigger pull. There's zero take up. Nice and crisp. I'll do a trigger pull test on this really quick. I just have my Lyman digital trigger pull gauge that I'll be using. And I forgot to mention, but like with all my videos, I will have a link in the description that takes you to my website, where I'll have links for all this stuff, all the parts and pieces, any tools I use, any of that stuff. I'll also have a link for my channel merchandise. If you guys want to go pick up a t-shirt, help the channel out, that'd be awesome. But I'm going to trigger pull test this really quick, see what it's pulling at. 3.39. That one was 2 pounds 12 ounces. That one was 2 pounds 15 ounces. So the average on those pulls is 2 pounds 15 ounces. So a 3-pound trigger essentially. It feels really good pulling the trigger. I'm really kind of impressed with how that trigger changed the bolt throw on this thing. I do have a little bit of shooting footage shooting this gun for you guys, so I'll throw that in here. I was shooting at about 250 yards and it is just right on the money. So that's kind of an overview of the Uintah Precision bolt action AR15 that I've got. If you guys are a bolt gun guy but like the AR style as well, this is an awesome option because you can just buy an upper, throw it on any AR you got, swap calibers really quick. Takes AR mags, AR parts. You can upgrade and accessorize these however you want. Uintah Precision makes quality stuff. I'm hoping to get another one of their guns here in the near future, probably in a different caliber. But thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll check you guys on the next one.